In the dim glow of a luxurious New York City restaurant, a powerful mafia boss leans back in his chair, surrounded by his tough-looking crew. His eyes lock onto a young waitress, her hands trembling as she pours wine. With a sly grin, he declares, "If you can sing this opera aria perfectly, I'll marry you right here." The room falls silent. Whispers ripple through the air. Who is this girl? And why would a man like him make such a wild bet? But what happens next isn't just about a song, it's about a single act of kindness that changes everything. Have you ever witnessed a moment where kindness turns the tide? That's the heart of today's story, proving that even in the darkest corners, a little compassion can light up the world. If you're inspired by tales of hope and humanity, hit that subscribe button for more from Kindness Lights. Like this video if you've experienced kindness firsthand, and drop a comment below sharing your own story. We love hearing from you. Now, let's dive into the tale. It all started in the bustling streets of Brooklyn, where Elena grew up in a modest apartment with her single mom. Elena was just 22, working double shifts at Giovanni's, an upscale Italian spot known for its celebrity sightings and whispered deals in the back rooms. She wasn't there for glamour, she needed the tips to pay for her mom's medical bills. Cancer had hit hard, and every penny counted. Elena had a voice like an angel, trained in secret by her late grandmother who loved opera. But she kept it hidden. Life was about survival, not dreams. One rainy evening, the restaurant was packed. In walked Marco Rossi, the infamous mafia boss of the Rossi family. Tall, sharp-suited, with a scar across his cheek from old rivalries, Marco commanded respect, or fear, from everyone. His table was in the corner, guarded by bodyguards. Elena was assigned to serve them, her heart pounding. She'd heard the stories. Marco was ruthless in business, but rumor had it he had a soft spot for the arts, especially opera, which reminded him of his own mother who passed away young. As the night wore on, Marco's mood soured. A deal had gone bad earlier that day, and he was barking orders at his men. When Elena approached to refill his glass, she accidentally spilled a drop on the tablecloth. "Watch it," one of his goons snarled. Elena apologized profusely, her face flushing. But instead of exploding, Marco waved it off. "It's just cloth," he muttered. Then, noticing her name tag, he asked, "Elena? That's Italian. You from around here?" She nodded, keeping it brief. But Marco pressed on. "You look like you've got stories. Ever sing? My ma used to say a good voice could heal the soul." Elena smiled faintly. "I hum sometimes, sir." The conversation was short, but in that moment, she saw a flicker of humanity in his eyes, loneliness, perhaps, behind the tough exterior. Days turned into weeks, and Marco became a regular. He'd request Elena's section, tipping generously. It wasn't flirtation, it was curiosity. One night, after closing, Elena found a stray dog shivering outside the alley. Without thinking, she wrapped it in her apron, fed it scraps, and took it home. Little did she know, Marco had seen the whole thing from his car. That's real kindness, he thought. In his world of betrayal and power plays, such simple acts were rare. The turning point came on a Friday night. The restaurant hosted a private event for Marco's birthday. The place was filled with influential guests, politicians, businessmen, and his loyal crew. Tension was high, whispers of a rival gang plotting against him floated around. Midway through dinner, Marco stood up, microphone in hand, addressing the room. "Life's too short for regrets," he said, his voice booming. "I've got everything, money, power, but no one to share it with. So, here's a challenge." His eyes scanned the room and landed on Elena, who was clearing plates. "You, waitress. Elena. I've heard you hum. If you can sing Nessun Dorma from Turandot perfectly, my mother's favorite aria, I'll marry you on the spot. Make you my queen." The room erupted in laughter and gasps. Elena froze. Marry him? She wasn't even sure she liked him that way. But the crowd egged her on, and Marco's grin was challenging, almost mocking. Deep down, though, it was a test, not just of talent, but of courage. Elena's mind raced. Her mom needed that money. If she pulled this off, maybe Marco would help. But more than that, she remembered her grandmother's words, kindness opens doors, but your voice? It opens hearts. With shaking hands, she took the mic. The pianist, a regular at the restaurant, nodded and began the intro. Elena closed her eyes, thinking of her mom, the dog she saved, the small acts that kept her going. Her voice started soft, then soared, pure, powerful, filling the room like sunlight breaking through clouds. Vincero. Vincero, she belted, the high notes flawless. Tears streamed down her face, not from fear, but from the release of years of hidden pain. The applause was thunderous. Marco's smirk vanished, replaced by awe. He approached her, the tough mafia boss looking vulnerable for the first time. That wasn't just singing, he whispered. That was magic. But the real shock came when Elena, still catching her breath, said, I don't want to marry you, Mr. Rossi. Not like this. But if you meant what you said about kindness, help my mom. She's sick, and I can't do it alone. Marco